Yeah, they'll be training while we're doing this interview.
Okay,
So
and
they will
then
just be in the background.
okay, and then
Is that okay?
oh no, 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 it's perfect. Then we'll get you guys,
Mm-hmm.
whatever demos you guys want to show or what have you, whatever you guys want to do. Um,
Okay.
yeah. So no, this is great. So we'll get started. Those of you who
We're
are just
live now, right?
we are yeah we are officially
Okay.
live. So those of you who are just jumping in, welcome to FMA Discussion. This is episode 105. Tonight we are featuring Maestro Bong Abenir and the Manila Group, and we'll introduce those guys as well once they come up here. They're actually just kind of practicing in the background for the time being. But so how you been?
Yeah, we're doing great. Well, it's been good to see you again and
Yeah.
talking to you. Yeah, the first interview that we did was way back. When was that?
No, it was matter of
It's,
fact, it was over. It was episode number two, and
yeah,
it had to be the very beginning of November of 2019. So yeah,
yeah, before the pandemic, right?
yeah, no, absolutely. Yep, it was 5 months before
Yeah,
that. Yep, yeah.
yeah, that's okay.
So and that was no, that was a great one. A lot of views and all that. So
Yes, and I enjoyed it also. Thank
yeah,
you very
yes,
much for that interview.
yes. I'm so glad to get you back on, and you got the crew with you too. So this
Yes.
is gonna be exciting. So but I know last time, for those who didn't watch last time when I had you on, we really covered you and the system and all that. And this
Mm-hmm.
time we're gonna do a little different. We're gonna basically just cover more general sense on FMA and the relevance to modern society and what have
Okay.
you. And then whatever demos you guys want to do for us, um, and all that. How's that sound?
Perfect.
There is before we jump in that though, there is one thing I want to cover, and I just think it's a testament, how you lead the group. So not so much talking specifically about you or the AK organization, but more from the premise of like conduct. Like one thing I noticed about this organization and a muck, I've noticed that all the reps really, really behave themselves on social media. Like they just don't go like blasting off on somebody or a system or talking
Yeah.
negatively. And to me, that is so important to make sure your reps are acting accordingly and in good faith and behavior wise, and not just doing whatever. And what do you attribute that to? Because I've been with you now 6 years, and I don't ever recall you sending like a memo out, like, "Hey, make sure you're behaving yourself," or or whatever.
Yes, definitely.
So I think it's more or less people see the way you act and they model after you. I mean, like, but I think it's a great thing. Is it something that you talk to people about, or do you feel that you just lead by example?
Well, just lead by example. I guess that's the most effective way of really trying to impart what is in your mind, what is in your heart. Because sometimes if you just keep on talking and if you cannot even book your talk, so uh, there is no point of really convincing the others if you cannot do it
Yeah,
uh, on your own. So you have to do it on your own first, and then try to let them know that what you are doing and what you are talking about is true about you. So
yeah.
in that sense, they will soon pick it up. They will follow.
Mm.
And
Oh,
I guess, yeah, in AK, we have been this way ever since. We try to avoid the usual bashing of other systems and other groups and
Mm,
other masters and other gurus and other practitioners. We try to respect each and everyone as much as possible. We give credit to where credit is due. So, for example, if this particular technique that we have been doing was done by another master, then we would have to give credit to that person, to that particular master. Why I do not try to create what do you call this? Um, an aura wherein I am the source of all these techniques, of all these skills that we have been doing here in AK. So in that sense, I have also been given uh, credit to people who really deserves the credit that they are supposed to have.
yeah. No, it definitely it shows. I mean, it's very apparent, and how the reps conduct themselves. Like, how Con Neil in Sweden, Bradley in Australia, us here
Yes.
in the States, Kavan, myself, who's on here now, Marvin and Kajo. I mean, like, you just don't see that behavior. It's just not acceptable or tolerated. And I just think it's a breath of fresh air, personally, because doing these interviews, there are times I see the ugly side, and it's just not. I don't know. I just don't. It doesn't really accomplish anything.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, yeah. There's time when you can have more candid conversation, behind closed doors and all that. But when it's out in the public, and social media, and all that, I don't know. I just think that's really done in bad taste, and and like in a group, I don't tolerate it. Just there's just no room for that. And so I commend you for you and the reps that are that behave this way. I think it's fantastic. And
Yeah,
so
thank you.
sure, sure. Do we want to introduce the guys beside you?
Uh, yes, we'll start with Kanorman. Come here. Uh, yeah, this is Norman. You've already met him, right? Okay.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh
Do you want to talk to him a little bit?
yeah. So what I want to
So
do is,
we'll just have a candid interview on everything that we're doing right now.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, at the end, I do want them to come up and say a few things, but for now, it'd be kind of neat just to interview who you got going with you in the Manila group. So we got Cod Norman and
Yeah, Ka
Cod Richard.
Norman. This Richard. Ka Richard. Yeah, show your face in the camera. Yeah, this Ka Richard. Mm. Yeah, he says good to see you finally.
Yes, and we got Cod Mike,
Okay.
right?
Yeah. Yes, and Mike is here. Ka Mike. Okay,
Okay.
and this one is Ka Mark, Coach Mark. He's one of the MMA fighters here.
Oh, okay.
He's a very very good wrestler.
Oh, wow, fantastic, fantastic.
Yeah, he's been undefeated here in MMA competitions.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, and we tried to have him in our group. First of all, he liked the system, and at the same time, we are trying to incorporate all the grappling techniques
Oh
that
my gosh.
he knows. Yeah, that we could incorporate in AK when
Yeah.
it comes to the ground.
Wow. No, that's fantastic. So so the other thing, okay, before we get into other stuff, you stress sparring so much, and I think it's um one of the things that made me want to join you guys was when I started seeing your videos and all that. I was just so enamored and impressed, that you
Thank
really
you very much.
advocated sparring and that it was so important. And what really also caught my attention was how you were so willing to get in there with your guys. Like, you threw a helmet on. I mean, you were in there.
Yes.
But I just think that's just so incredible. Like, you just like, instead of standing on the sidelines, like, you were in the trenches. And I just think that's so admirable. And
Thank you,
my
buddy.
example. And but all in all, what can you tell us? Like, what's your view and your lens on sparring, and why? important, and how to go about it. As far as I guess the second part of the question, how to go about as far as incoming new students, maybe have anxiety or a little nervous at the beginning.
Okay. Well, for me, sparring is probably the best test when it comes to really knowing when and where and why you should do a technique. Because, for example, there are certain techniques that cannot be easily used in sparring, especially if you're up against someone who knows what you're doing as well.
Mm,
So sometimes there are certain techniques that we have to lump into certain categories. For example, this technique is only good for demonstration. This particular technique is only good for showmanship. But these particular techniques that are really, really good for sparring, that always comes out every now and then. It is being repetitive, meaning it could be done almost at will at all times, especially the simple uno cuatro techniques, for example, of tatang. If you're familiar with the uno cuatro, it's just a very simple technique. But when it comes to delivering the movements, it always hits the hand, it always hits the head.
mm,
So these particular things that we try to discover when it comes to the effectivity of all the techniques that we have been doing, um, it is always better to know if it really works.
yeah,
Okay? Because if it doesn't work in sparring, then there's a chance that it wouldn't work in real fighting. So, but of course, there are certain things that could not be done in sparring. So there are certain things also that we try to keep in training
mm,
because, of course, sparring could not cover everything. Eh? But it's a good way to test yourself. It's a good way to test your skill, and it's a good way to develop timing. A good way to develop your what do you call this sense of distance.
mm,
Because if you cannot do that in sparring, if you cannot do all these things, no matter how much you train in a fashion where you're just drilling, it might not come out in real
mm.
fight.
No,
Okay. Now,
yeah.
what? Yeah, I guess that is true also with other martial arts. Okay.
Mm,
Unfortunately, there are certain martial arts that have just been stuck with drilling and drilling and drilling all the time, and
mm,
thinking that even without sparring, they'll be able to just pull it off that easy. No, that won't happen.
yeah,
So it will be a fluke if they ever get a chance to put it off in a real fight. So when it comes to the new students, how do we go about this? First, of course, we introduce certain drills, just a few drills that will make them comfortable, especially when handling sticks first, and then progressing to bladed weapons. Of course, the blunt weapons that will simulate what we're doing. And then the way I introduce the sparring to them is I let myself get hit all the time. So for example, if I'm going to emphasize certain technique, I want them to hit me as much as possible, okay, without me hitting them. Okay.
mm,
So first they develop that confidence that they're able to hit their teacher. So for me, that's a very, very good way of training them. Not the other way around. Not
yeah,
wherein I am the teacher and then I will constantly hit them all the time. So during the years that I've been reflecting on this, I tried to change the way I teach. So instead of me hitting their hand all the time, in order for them to learn, first I let them hit my hand all the time, and
mm,
then after they develop that confidence of hitting me, that's the time I try to hit them. Um, um, well, that's my introduction to
yeah,
allow them to feel the pain. Okay.
yeah.
So, but that comes later already. Okay. Unlike before, it was the other way around.
Mm. No, I think that's great. You let them develop some sense of range and confidence and targeting and accuracy. You know what I mean? And
Yes.
before, like, you just like start going off on them, and then they probably get discouraged,
Yeah.
and they probably get discouraged and kind of
Hmm.
end up leaving. You know what I mean? So nobody's winning there. I mean, so
That's true.
but I did have a question on here, and it's from Maestro Alvin. All right, what we got here? And we got a bunch of people on there. Hey, hello, Felix, Maestro Rister, Kavan. Hey, Frank Wachikowski, Maestro Alvin, of course, Guru J, Guru Terry, Kaguramo from Japan, and
Morning, guys.
Rudy, and Julius, and Scott, and Brooks. All right. Okay. I think I got everybody. All right. So I have a question here, Maestro,
Okay.
from Maestro Alvin. And what Maestro Alvin is asking is what is an example of a technique you only do in demonstration?
Mm. Okay. Now this is a little bit. Okay. You want me to stand up and show
Sure.
it?
Okay, that's up to you. Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jump right into
Okay.
it. Good question, Alvin. Thank you.
Kanorman. Kanorman. Okay. Can you get one stick for me as well? One technique. Okay, that is only good for demonstration.
Yeah, yep.
Okay. Now, when I say it is only good for demonstration, again, some might have the impression that I'm bashing other techniques. No, this is my our experience only. Okay.
Okay.
So whatever we're doing here, this is according to our sparring format, the things that we do, things that we think that should not be done in sparring. Okay, because it will expose you to a lot of dangers as well,
Yeah.
especially if you're not wearing headgears. Okay, so
Okay.
because before we started without headgears, and then we keep on sparring and sparring, and then we found out that we get hit all the time in the head because of doing certain things that should not be done. Okay, so let me give you one. I'll just drop my earphone for a while. Okay.
Oh, sure, sure.
Okay.
Uh, Hearing them, but they froze.
Not be done. Okay. Example.
Hmm. Okay.
Particular
Yeah, folks. There's freezing. Oh man, good old technology. Afraid of this. I'm gonna give them. Yeah, let's give them some time to come back. They're in Manila, and I'm just not sure. I know they had there were some issues going on, but hopefully, let's stand by and let them give it a chance to come back in. It's always a crapshoot when doing interviews over there. You know. I understand. As more people are getting up during the day and all that, depending on where they are, the signal can go. But I'm going to give them a chance to come back in. In the meantime, what can I talk about? Oh, and here we go. Okay,
Hello, Kadin.
it's okay. We lost you there for a bit, but no worries.
Yes, yes, that's true. Mhm.
Okay. Uh,
Were you able to see the demo?
no, it was fading in and out when you
Okay.
stood up, so we didn't get a chance to see anything.
You want me to repeat it again?
If you could do it right there, yeah, that would be.
Okay.
If it's okay, I'm sorry. It was
Okay,
going in
let's
and
do it
out.
again. Yeah, the weather here is a little bit gloomy right now. So sometimes the internet connection is being affected because of
Yeah,
the
yeah.
weather.
I kind of I kind of figured.
Okay, anyway, this certain movement that I'm going to show you, for example, especially when done with swords, this is a no-no. That
No, no, okay, okay,
yes, okay. So I'll just drop my earphones for a while, okay,
okay.
so that you could see it. Okay. Norman.
Norman. All right. Maestro Alvin. Yes, episode 2, Maestro Alvin. That episode goes over his whole background and all that. I'll post it later too. That episode goes over his whole background and all that. I'll post it later. All right.
Okay.
I can
Did you
see.
see what I did?
Yeah, yeah, I did. Thank you. I can see why what you meant by that. That was just for demos. So yeah,
Yes, for a lot of demonstrations, especially when they're holding the swords and then they're going down, exposing their heads.
yeah,
That
yeah.
is a no-no, especially
No, no,
when
yeah, yeah,
thrusting is used.
yeah. Not when those sharp things are flying around, right?
Yes, and I've seen those uh, particle demonstrations a lot, a lot.
Yeah,
I mean, so that
yeah.
should not be done in actual sparring,
No,
especially in actual fighting.
yeah, no. I
You
definitely.
will get you will get badly cut or
Yeah,
thrust
yeah.
on the neck or on the face.
Yeah, that's not good. That's not a good scene. I just Maestro's, yes, Maestro John. I'm definitely gonna repost Maestro's first interview. It was number 2, and that goes over his whole background, why he created AK, and the whole bit. I'll definitely post that here, sure. Um, so then, Maestro Alvin says thank you for showing. Um,
You're welcome.
but so now we're at I just okay, so back to the sparring when and I know and I like what you're saying, like when a student comes in, you'll kind of let them hit you, get acclimated, get kind of into a comfort
Yes.
zone and all that, and then at that point, yeah, at what point do you based on individual far as each individual as far as when you think they're ready to put the helmets on, or is it like a particular time frame, or you look for attributes? I'm sure it differs for each individual that you're coming across, right?
Yeah, definitely. Well, as a teacher, I would really have to observe first the students, and then try to feel if that particular student is already ready for such kind of sparring. But well, we always try to expose them with our sparring sessions.
Yeah,
So probably around a week or two, they're already interested. So most of the students that I've encountered, a week or two, or probably after 1 month, they already want to join the sparring sessions. Okay, but
Mm,
first, I only allow them to use padded sticks for first timers, padded sticks, and then after some time, if they're already very good in striking, hitting, evading, then uh, I will introduce them with using the rattan sticks already. So that's a
okay.
progression right now. Okay. Unlike before, since we do not have work during that time, that was way back 20 years ago. No money to spend on padded sticks and headgears and everything. So we were
Okay.
just using rattan sticks all the time, and yeah, and we got a lot of people getting hurt, but they're still here. They're still here.
Yeah,
So that's
yeah,
the
no.
yeah, that's the thing about us in AK. If we hurt somebody, we try to not put them down by saying, "Oh, your defense is weak." No, we encourage them that that's the reason why you should move a certain way, that you should develop certain attributes in order for you to progress. And then always remember that even I, as an instructor, will also get hit from time to time.
Yeah,
So that's the way I encourage them. I tell them that even with your ability, with just any technique that you have right now, you could hit me with that. Okay, I'm not an invincible instructor. I'm not somebody that would not be get hit. So I give those encouragement all the time.
okay.
So I let them feel that we are the same level. Okay,
Yeah, no, I think
I just
that's
have a little bit more things that I could impart to them, and if they already have it, then we're on equal terms already.
I think that's fantastic, and I've always, my 6 years with you and all that, I've always seen that, like, you're very embracing and very, humble and all that, and it shows. Everybody notices that on Facebook about you. I mean, nothing but positive things. They always speak of your humility and just the absolute respect for you that you jump in there with your guys. That's one of the first things I saw. I'm like, man, this guy jumps in there with his men. I'm like, this is somebody I want to be with. They lead by example. They're putting on helmet on. You know what I mean? Like, like not sitting on the sidelines, just dictating.
Thank you very much.
No, 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 absolutely. Go. I mean, so another thing too, what really I admired from you and all that is the way you and I don't know if you guys are planning on showing that today. I think you should, because I think it's something you guys do so well, and you address it so with such integrity and honesty, and that's empty hand against knife. Like, you
Wow.
guys are not like, don't play fairy tale land. I mean, you guys are like,
Yes.
you acknowledge that there's going to be failures. It's hard. It's difficult. There's not like one recipe that's the cure all for like you not getting stabbed. What made you come to those conclusions?
Well, I owe this way of thinking first and foremost with my instructors. With real teachers with real experiences. So also with the interviews that I had with some people with shady character, thugs on the streets who went in and out of the jail, and they will tell you exactly what really happens. Just plain, black and white, no gray area. When you try to uh, put a little bit of fairy tales behind what you're trying to uh, show the people, then there there is where usually the problem comes in.
Yeah.
Okay, because a lot of people sometimes are being misled. They think that certain skills that could be easily done in a demonstration could be pulled off also in a real fight.
Mm,
So what with this mentality coming from these instructors, I develop this mentality as well. Especially when we do these things in sparring, using blunt blades, sometimes even holding real blades, in order for us just to feel if disarming with our bare hands would really amount into something. These things we try to apply, and then we think about it. Is this really what we're going to do, or we're going to show the people? And then until our questions are already, answered with all the, live sparrings that we did. Only then will we have a proper conclusion. And
Yeah.
then, so our proper conclusion is that you can get hit at any time. You could hurt yourself anytime. Sometimes the technique might work. Sometimes the technique would fail you.
Yeah.
It depends on who you're fighting against. If you're someone with no experiences, but his heart is very, very, determined, you will have a hard time, even if
Yeah.
you're a martial artist. I really don't care if you are a master or whatever. If you're fighting someone with, pure intent, with a lot of intensity behind his attacks, you will have a hard time.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why my take on learning martial arts is just do it. When you train, you train. Don't think about, whether you would have to add a lot of, fancy stuff behind it. No,
Mhm.
just to show the public that this could be a better way of doing things. No, just do it. Okay, and then learn from it. Throw what is unnecessary, and then try to keep those that works all the time for you. If it doesn't work for him, well, don't force it. If it works on you, then keep it. So let them have certain, what do you call this, ownership in the skills that you have shared them.
Yeah.
If you have taught them, if they do things a certain way, then I just let them. Okay? If that works for you, that's good for you. Okay? I don't try to, no, try to copy me what I did. No. If
Yeah.
you have your own way of doing it, interpreting the skills or the techniques that I have shown you, and you could do it much better than sometimes I would say, could you teach that? Could you
Yeah.
teach that technique to me? I have guys who could move very, very well, and sometimes I envy them. And I try to ask them, could you teach me that certain kind of movements? I cannot do that. Okay, so it doesn't mean that I'm the instructor. I'm the source of everything. No, sometimes I get things from my students most of the time, especially just by watching them how they spar. Okay? There's a lot of
Mhm.
truth, okay? And then all these concepts are being built because of that. Okay?
Wow. That's awesome that you actually, that, you to this day still, you know, fully admit and embrace learning and, and even from your own crew there, you know what I mean? That you actually, give and take and that, you don't even mind like asking them to show you or whatever. No, I think that's fantastic. I just, yeah, I just wish everybody, more and more were like this. I think some of these people, they get, and, whether it's their fault or not, they get put in such a high position. I almost feel like sometimes they feel like they can't like put themselves on that level. You know what I mean? And yeah, but that's fantastic. Wow. Um, before
Thank
we
you, buddy.
I definitely want to go over to FMA culture and how
Hmm.
FMA is relevant to today's society and all that. But did you before we do that, um, did you like what did you have in mind? I guess for demos.
Uh, what do I have in mind? Anything goes.
No, yeah, like somebody asked here to
Yeah.
say maybe like some C-Law. I mean, I don't care what you show. I think it's all gonna be great to me.
Hmm.
Whatever you want to show. I don't or the guys want to show. Um,
Right
you
now.
want to talk to them and why do that? I was gonna play the video. Um, and all that.
Hmm.
So, um, do you want to see what Cod Norman and them like whatever you guys want to do?
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll
All right.
just focus on the camera.
Okay. And
Uh, okay. Sige.
folks.
Oh, just I'll try to go
Okay,
with
sure.
them. Okay. Okay.
And folks, while we're waiting for them to set up,
Okay. Yeah. Kadin? Kadin?
yeah. No, I'm here,
Hello,
Maestro.
Kadin. Are you there?
Oh yeah, I'm here.
Okay. So yeah, you showed them the video, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Everybody loved it, by incidentally.
Okay. So just that's a commercial.
No, no, no. People
So
loved
we'll
it.
just show you a few things. Okay. We'll just show you a few things. Okay.
Sure, I'm gonna lower myself so you guys have more space. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, Kadin.
Wow. Yeah,
Okay.
that's
Just a little bit of.
yeah, case in point. That's not that is nasty. That's yeah, that is not easy. And most have swords part there. Okay, I think I got another question. Houdin, please ask. No, Mister. Well, okay, I got a question here, Maestro.
Okay.
Please ask Maestro Abenir, while most FMA groups use swords as part of their emblems, others use animals like eagle, stingray's tail, and all that. What does it mean for the club?
Come again, Kadin.
So,
What does?
so what the person's asking is, It says,
Mm-hmm.
Maestro Abenir, most MMA groups use swords are their emblems. Women use animals, eagle,
Yeah.
stingray. What does wolf mean for the club?
Ah, wolf. Ah, yes. Okay. Well, we're fascinated by the intelligence of the wolf,
Mm,
and then how they work as a pack.
mm,
That's how that's what we see in AK. We work together. Okay. We don't go alone by ourselves. Meaning we try to cooperate all the time, especially in training. There's no such thing as in a group lone wolf or whatever.
mm,
So we just like the idea of working together as a group. So when we try to think about what kind of animal that we would like to, you know, uh, emulate, it turns out that the wolves are very highly intelligent, and then when they work together, they really work together.
mm.
They protect each other. So that's what we do in AK. So that's it.
No, I think that's great.
Nothing much. Yeah, no mystery, no nothing.
Yeah. There's no hidden agenda. No, I think that's great. Like the wolf,
Yeah, yeah.
kind of the pack, the unity of the
Mm.
pack and what have you. Yeah. No, I think that's great. That's great. What I want to get into now is some of the things that you wanted to share with us, and that's um, FMA and its relevance in society today. Like, what can you share with us? You know.
Well, the obvious relevance is, well, when it comes to defending oneself, even here in our country, where a lot of attacks are still being done, with knives and other weapons aside from the usual firearms. Okay, that's why we try to teach as much as possible the simplest way on how to deal with these certain types of weapons that are being used by certain type of people who are bent on just destroying another person's life.
Mm,
So it becomes relevant because we really need it. A lot of us really need to know how to defend ourselves properly, and with the full knowledge of what we could have by learning FMA. This is part of our advocacy, wherein we try to teach women, children, really how to deal with, weapons. Not so much on how to use them, but on how to defend against them. Okay, because here people are still, not used to seeing women, especially children, handling weapons, especially bladed ones. Okay.
mm,
So what we try to do before, I have the mindset before that if you do not know how to use the blade, then it will be of no use for you to learn how to defend against a blade.
mm,
Because if you do not have understanding of the blade, then you will not have any understanding of the proper defense against it. I before that was my belief. Now, it's not really true. There is just some deeper learning that you could get if you know how to use the blade. But to totally defend against someone with a blade, even without you knowing how to use it, you could still do it, provided that your training is really geared towards defending,
mm,
properly trained against it. So we have taught people how to defend against blades, knives, without even teaching them how to use the knife. Okay,
mm,
but we give them the energy, the proper energy. We give them the angles where it's coming from usually, and from there, that's already half the battle is already won.
mm.
With just knowing the defensive side of FMA. That's why it's very relevant. in society right now. And of course, it's not just about the violent side. FMA has a lot more to offer. If one would only go deeper with what the masters were teaching, were
Mm.
sharing, how to be uh, a good person by not really boasting of your skills of what you know, just being low profile. Well, that's the essence of being a martial artist. You don't have to walk around, just advertising yourself that you're a badass person because you're a martial artist. Nothing like that. The more you know, the more you should be able to control yourself. The more you should be able to understand other people. When they get violent, you don't have to be violent with them against what they're doing. You could just talk to them. You could use psychological approaches, which in our modern times is more efficient most of the time. Okay, you don't really have to go toe to toe with them. So it's not always about showing your skills. It's also using your brain. It's also using your ability to speak. So for me, that is what FMA could teach you. If you found a good instructor, if you find the right group that would be able to teach this, then stick with them. Learn from them. But if you find someone who's just boasting all the time and just cursing everybody, they're the best. Stay away from those group.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
will lead you to a path, yeah, wherein you don't want to tread in.
Actually, those are the ones that are going to get you into more violence because you're
That is true. That is true.
because they're going to get you to escalate. You know what I mean? Because you're going
That's
around
true.
thinking that. So instead of trying to diffuse the situation or de-escalate it, those are the ones that are actually going to bring it even higher. You know what I mean? So
And by that it defeats already the purpose of self defense.
yeah, yeah. No, true,
Yeah,
right.
it already defeats the purpose. Yeah.
Yeah, that you didn't use the least restrictive at first, like you mentioned, trying to, obviously diffuse it by verbally or what have you, or trying to walk away or anything along those lines, you know what I mean? But if you're boasting and all that, it's pretty much, there's a good chance you're going to further instigate, and
Yeah.
make it worse, whatever was going on and from the get-go, Um,
And it turns out that you become the attacker and not anymore the defender.
you're not defending anymore.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, turn into the aggressor. Wow. So what about what I was gonna say there, have you had I don't know, students come in that have been attacked? I mean, is that unfortunately has that happened?
Yeah. Yes, yes. Especially during my early days, I remember one particular student. I won't mention his name. He was walking in the park, and then these two drunk guys just tried to nab him. And what he did, because his car was already halfway, open. The door was already halfway. He got the head of the attacker right between the door and 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 the car itself, and he was really smashing the guy. And then the other one went unconscious because he threw this person to the ground and knocked his head. And suddenly the police was calling me because before I was giving identification IDs, and they were trying to ask me if this particular person was my student, and I said yes, he's my student. So yeah, okay, sir, because this is the case. And so, oh my God, what happened? So
No.
that's just one particular incident that I had. After that, I stopped giving IDs.
Oh, yeah,
Sometimes, yeah, yes,
oh my God.
yeah, yeah.
I know
I
here.
don't want the police just calling me because of.
I'm
Yeah,
under
I
Maestro.
had my name, the number. Yes. So it was late at night. I got a call from the police. I thought I was in trouble. It was my student who was in trouble.
Oh,
So no more IDs after that. No more IDs.
yeah, my God, I know, like, oh my gosh. Yeah, yeah, I trained under Maestro
Yeah.
Bong Abenir. Here you go. Here's his number.
uh,
Oh, that's oh my. I mean, it's funny, but not funny. Wow. Yeah. So anybody like, how about a female? Anybody, a female that unfortunately maybe has been attacked and has come to you or anything along those lines for like lessons or to help them get back, maybe
yeah.
psychologically,
Yes. Yes.
you know?
Well, one of my students, male students, he has a girlfriend who was attacked inside a taxi, and fortunately, the driver only wanted her belongings, so I think she was able to get away after that, and because of that incident, my student enrolled his girlfriend to our training sessions, and right
Mm,
there and then we started teaching a lot of women afterwards. We opened up workshops, seminars for women who got attacked, especially those who were battered housewives as well.
mm,
There were incidences that they came to us and were asking for some tips. Uh,
yeah, yeah.
some Most of the time it's not actually the techniques that they want; it's how to deal with this kind of problems that they were dealing with during that time. So we were just telling them what to do and how to escape. Just a little bit of self-defense that they could use, but most of them it was how to talk, and then it was how to escape as fast as they can, how
Mm,
to be aware, of the surroundings. So
yeah, there's such a thing to the to the pre-violent stage. I mean, just like we got actually though here I got a question here for you, Maestro, and it's from
mm.
that way. Maestro Bong, how you handle female students? Is there a difference, like movements, techniques, etc.?
uh, we have this saying in AK: there is no such thing as women's self-defense and men's self-defense separately. We teach them all the same way. Because, for example, if women would really like to know how to defend against a violent male, then they will really have to have that mentality like men when they fight. They would have to fight toe to toe. But of course, using their intuitive sense. If they could talk their way out, then they have to. Which we also teach with males as well. So it's really the same. Nothing. No separation. We don't. Sometimes we just use the term women's self-defense in order to give emphasis that this is for women. This particular workshop. But when it comes to self-defense generally, we teach them the same level. So if you train a warrior, you don't try to separate them. These are warrior females. These are warrior males. No, they are all warriors. They're just
Yeah,
warriors.
no, I like that. I like that. They're all yeah. I like that. Huh. Well, what's your opinion on do you? What's your opinion on women's? Do you think there's an aspect of women's self-defense that weaponized? You know what I mean? Like having like a weapon with them. You know?
Yeah. Sometimes, not sometimes. I really encourage women to bring some kind of deterrent, a deterrent,
Yeah.
whatever that is, pepper spray or whatever they could use
Mm.
in order to defend themselves. So blades, it depends. It depends because, of course, no one is really allowed to walk with blades all around, even in the cities.
Oh,
Even if you're,
in Manila?
a woman. Yeah, yeah, yeah. There are certain restrictions. For example, if you're riding an LRT, MRT, light rate transit, of course, those will be confiscated. So what we really encourage them is how to use, for example, ordinary things that they carry all around: keys,
Geez, yeah.
umbrellas. Okay, and that's why FMA is very relevant, because all this transition from sticks to blades to ordinary um, things that you have carrying around every day, you could easily translate them,
Yeah, yeah.
provided that, yeah, provided that you are training with them. For example, you don't just say, okay, use the umbrella. You have to train using the umbrella.
Mm,
Okay, don't just tell them, now you know the sticks, now you know the blade, then just when you try to use the umbrella, use the same thing that you have uh, with the skills that you got from learning the sticks and the blade. No, train with the umbrella.
mm,
Okay, use it, and then try to know where and when it will be of service to you. Okay, for example, if you use the umbrella just for smashing a person, it will not work. But if you use the tip of the umbrella, okay, and you hold it in a proper manner by using two hands and then by thrusting it, then it will work you well.
mm.
It will work for you well. Okay, so certain things that you have to discover. Okay? So the principles, the concepts are there, but train with it. Okay, don't just have this on your mind, okay, that you could just hold of anything and then automatically it will just come into you that you'll be able to use the weapon properly. No, you will have to train with it, familiarize with it.
Yeah, no, no, I like that, right? Because you just say, well, yeah, it's a blunt weapon translation, just like a stick. But like you said, I mean, no, you got to learn how to handle it, manipulate it. You know what I mean, and all that. Yeah, no, agreed,
Yeah,
agreed.
yeah, yeah.
We got something. Okay, ooh, we got another question from Guru Paul. How close is your method of teaching now from how you learned? That's a good question.
Hmm. How close? How close?
How close is your method of teaching now from how you
Hmm.
learned initially?
It's well, it's what do you call this? It's really different, it's really different. When I first learned the techniques, they were just techniques. They were just a collection of techniques that I learned from my masters. Of course, the concept and the principles were there, but it was very very limited. For example, when you train with blades, then all the time you were just dealing with blades all the time. But now, since we are incorporating firearms as well, so it's a different thing, but I have to pick up the principles that I got from my masters and then be able to use some of the techniques that I could use in order to use with firearms, with certain kind of weapons, so with a certain kind of movement. So the way I learned back then and the way I teach now is a different thing, totally different. Because right now we are more concerned on how to do things tactically for the
Mm,
streets, especially when you're teaching law enforcers, when you're teaching people who are engaged in, uh, the military. It's different.
okay.
So you cannot just do what you were told years ago by your instructor, who was limited during at that time with what he was doing. Okay, so I will not dare say that they are inadequate or they are lacking. No, it just so happens that during that time that was what they were doing and were focusing on. But since right now we are on a different level already, where you know a lot of people are already well, armed with the knowledge with how to use guns,
Mm,
armed with the knowledge on how to use a headlock properly by watching just MMA,
YouTube.
all these things. Yes, YouTube, you can learn all this stuff.
Ah,
You will have to adjust and you will have to, what do you call this? Adapt.
like
Keep
that.
adapting, keep changing. Yeah.
Mm,
So that's why in AK we don't try to box ourselves.
yeah.
We don't, yeah, put ourselves into a box and that's it. forever. That's it. No, it's always changing,
Evolving,
always changing,
evolving.
evolving and evolving. That's why I'm saying if I'm already gone, then yeah, I'm looking forward to the thought that those people who will continue this will keep on evolving,
Yeah, yeah, right.
keep on changing.
Yeah. It's got a part two to it. Have you added other concepts from the original?
Yes, definitely. Yes, definitely. I have, and a lot.
Yeah.
I have added a lot of concepts. I have added a lot of principles based on our experience and based on the teachings that I gained from my students who are also knowledgeable in other arts.
Yeah.
I have tried to incorporate them within the system. So, for example, if you Kadin, if I pick up something from you, then I will have to use it, assimilate it, and then try to teach it as well because it works. If it works, it works. So that's just it. The truth is, always what we're after. So
Yeah, I mean, right. If you see truth, then you basically let it govern you, and whatever comes into play that brings out truth, you
yes,
incorporate it, regardless of, I guess,
yeah.
where it came from and what system it came from or who it came from. I mean, you know, um,
And even if it hurts you, even if it hurts you, for example, if you were, you have this belief for a very very long time, and then suddenly you wake up, no, this is the truth, and you have to discard that belief that you were holding on for a long time, then you have to, give it up
and that's got to be
in order for that
hard,
truth to come out.
you know.
Yeah, yeah,
That can't be easy. Like I know there's people out there. I'm not saying, I'm not gonna say names on that hold on to stuff, even though they were exposed to stuff that was more on the functional plane and working. And I don't fault
yeah,
them. I just think that because they've held it for so many years, and all the accolades and positive reinforcement that have come over those years of holding it, it's got to be very difficult
mm,
to let go. I'm guessing,
yeah,
where I'm like, it's gone. Like if it doesn't work, if it doesn't work, it's gone. I don't compartmentalize things. I don't put things on a shelf. I don't hold on to them. Um, you know
yeah,
what I mean? But for some people, no, it's I get it. It can't be easy. If they were taught that way, I mean, I don't fault them. It's yeah, yeah, that can't be easy. You know,
yes.
but what what would you like to share with us just as far as the FMA culture as a whole? I mean, like, for those maybe over here in the States that, haven't been
Mm.
there yet and all that. Look at those guys in the back, man. They're freaking
Yeah.
Richard and Connie.
Yeah, they're going at it again. Yes, yes. Well, you, if you really want to understand the Filipino martial arts and the Filipino martial art culture, uh, for example, especially for the foreigners, you would really have to visit
Yeah.
the country in order for you to understand what we're, going through, what we have been through, why we act a certain way, why we think a certain way, why we develop certain movements that is particularly better for us since we are very very small in stature. Most of the people here are, in an average of 5'9", 5'10" height, as against to someone who is really 6'4", 6'10". Why these sudden subtle differences in movements? Why do we, express ourselves in such a way? If you want really to understand that, well, go here and then, dine with us, train with us, in order for you to understand our culture, because Filipinos are always very very willing to share our,
Mm,
we love foreigners learning more, deeper things about what we could, show them, um, because FMA is not just about techniques, it's not just about skills, it's more than that. There are a lot of, certain things that we have not shared, because of limitations that we have as living here, and
Mm,
then us being invited going there, or well, you could ask the people who came here in the Philippines. They learn a lot more, and it's vice versa with other martial arts as well. For example, if I want to learn more about Aikido or Judo, then I would have to go to Japan in order
mm,
to really understand it deeper. I
no,
cannot get that anywhere here. Even even if I am training with the best Filipino, Aikido instructor or Judo instructor, I will not learn the deeper things about that particular art if I'm staying here. I would have to go to the origin of the country where the martial art came from.
which is why I need to go there. Dean is
Yeah,
he's calling you to visit. Yeah, Guru Paul, that's exactly what he's doing. You need to go. I do need to go. I do. I do.
yeah,
All right. Oh, another question. Guru Paul's got some good questions here. On tactical, that's not now that is not overused. Tactical. Tactical this. Tactical.
yeah.
I'm
Yes, tactical this, tactical that.
just kidding. Just kidding. Paul. Fixed blade versus folder. Oh, good question. I like this. Pros and
hmm
cons. So
Straight blade versus folders.
yeah. What do you I guess
Okay.
your preference and the pros and cons of each?
Well, I would rather have a straight blade most of the time with me rather than a folder. Especially, attacks in the streets are most of the time, get you by surprise. You don't have the time to have that extra motion wherein you're trying to open the blade. Okay, because even a millisecond is sometimes too long on a
Mm,
street fight. Yeah, even a millisecond is very very important. By opening the blade, sometimes if it fails you, that could you know, that could mean the end of your life. So that's why I prefer using a straight blade because I do not have to do
yeah,
an extra motion. Just get it and then use it if I had to. But
right.
of course, with the folders, you could always train with it to be fast, efficient. And I've seen guys who are very very fast in using. Well, on my take, for each individual, it's a matter of preference. If you could pull it off that fast, that quick, then good for you. But in my opinion, I would rather not risk, having a folder with me that might fail me if
Mm,
the pressure is there right there and then.
yeah.
So I have to have that blade quickly out there immediately so that I could use it. So that's my take on it. I'm not saying that folders are not good. No?
Yeah, sure, sure, sure.
Yeah, I'm not saying that. It's a matter of preference only. But if you're good at it, then man, use it.
Yeah, but no, I think you're right. If you want, I mean, like, if you get ambushed, you're gonna want wherever you're pulling out, you want it ready to go. In a folder,
Yeah.
I mean, so that's a legitimate argument. The folders are easily conceal and carry, so there's
Yes.
an argument for that. I mean, yeah. So I mean,
Mhm.
right. I guess, like you said, it, preference. I guess, I mean, how much have you practiced drawing? And have
Yeah.
you practiced drawing under pressure? I mean, to me, which
Yeah, and that's very I'm very particular with when it comes. Well, we have not shown videos where we do quick draws. That is a big part of our training.
drawing under pressure.
Because yeah, that should be a big part of your training because most of the time, even if FMA, they're always training with the blades out already,
Yeah, I
which
know.
is
Like,
highly
yeah.
improbable in the streets that you'd be walking around with.
I've been guilty in the
You
past.
will.
But I tell you, like I have been doing. I tell you, well, before COVID,
Hmm.
I was putting some emphasis on training drawing under pressure, and man,
Yeah.
depending on the gap of space, man, you better be. It's
Yes.
because they're on top of you,
Yeah. If
It's,
you're dealing with weapons, you really have to know
but it's
how
fun
to
though.
draw them quickly.
Yeah, I mean, you
Yeah.
can make it fun, but I think it's like you said. I think it's needed. I think it's a.
Yeah.
I think it's an undertrained area that I've seen for the most part. I'm not, I know there's people out there that do it, but I don't know if it's a major component of which I think it should be. Um,
Mm.
Look at those guys back there. My gosh, most Guru Paul, most carry blade in between the pages of newspapers.
Mm.
Is that
Mm.
is that true in Manila? Walking around carrying a
Yeah,
blade?
yeah. Most of the people who are going in and out of jail, they have this old tactic of putting the blades in between the newspaper or sometimes books. This is a very very old tactic already. So yeah, um, they still use these things. They still use these things.
Wow.
And you'll never know you're walking straight in front of them, and they're there ready anytime to deploy the blades. Okay, so
That's like eyes behind your head, on the side of your head. I mean, that's just like I see a newspaper man
yeah.
across the street.
Yeah. Yeah, or rolled up magazine or whatever.
Oh my gosh, my goodness. So
Mm.
let's get into the Coast Guard. You got some stuff going on with the Coast Guard.
Yeah. Yes, Kadi. We have trained many of their personals in the K9 division of Coast Guard because they wanted an art that will help them deal with certain attacks, especially with knives, because they have experiences where some of their men died in the in service because they were unable to handle these kinds of attacks against them. So they decided that instead of learning how to use blades all the time and how, I mean, teaching people just plainly how to kill another person's life is not worth their time because that's not their job. Their
Mm,
job is to apprehend. Yeah, their job is to do police work. So most of the time they don't have the luxury of what other elite forces are having, where they could use the blades and deploy it anytime they want to if they are against certain kind of trouble. With them, they would really have to know how to apprehend people.
mm,
So even if they are able to snatch the blade, they would have the mentality that will make them aware not to use the blade against the person where they were able to snatch it from. So that's why we're teaching them these things. Snatch the blade, and then get control of the blade, get control of the person that attacked you. And
mm.
so in exchange, they taught us how to use firearms as well. And
Oh,
we got some of their people who were in the elite group of the Coast Guard who taught us some things. So we're trying to work hand in hand on how to use firearms, how to use blades, how to use empty hands, so that when it comes to doing their work, they'll be able to transition from each type of weapon.
oh, neat. And and when's like now have you when was the last time you've met up with these guys? Because I know obviously with the COVID situation going on.
Yeah, that was a year ago, but I think the last time was around October, November, I guess October. But with the senior students that we have left there, they're continuing the work of teaching.
Oh, good, good, okay,
So
good.
yeah, Commons is handling these things right now. Karens also, they are from the Coast Guard.
Oh, that's
So we
awesome.
have taught them enough.
Good, good.
Yeah.
Got another question. Good day, Maestro Bong. Do you think that classical style in FMA will survive in the future, or is there such a thing as modern globalization FMA? What a great question. Wow.
Hmm.
That is so that in other words, so do you think the classical style FMA will survive in the future, or is there such things as modern globalization FMA? You know, well, that's interesting.
Mhm.
You're seeing kind of stuff coming into, especially like empty hand against knife. Like when you look at it, like I'm seeing, a lot of stuff that people are doing. It's not, you can't really call it pure FMA. You know what I mean? Like, what's
Yes.
your thoughts on that question?
Uh, I do not know if there is really such a thing as a pure FMA. That's my
Classical,
real take on it.
like if there's a
Yeah,
pure
but we
classical
first,
system.
yeah, yeah. Um, well, we have always been a nation where different foreigners have always been visiting our country, and we have always been open to sharing and sharing all the time. The
Mm.
Muslims, the Spaniards.
So were they
So if you
visiting
see
or were
FMA,
they intruding? No, I'm just kidding.
yeah. Well, okay, but
Just
well,
kidding.
aside from that,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, there have been influences, even way back from other arts. Silat is one
Mm.
influence that we've got. So, but if we're talking about the old FMA styles, classical styles that we have, if it will survive, yeah, definitely. I There is still a lot of masters out there who have not been discovered even until now, and
Mm.
we were so, yeah, they have just been quiet all the time. So they do not like the limelight of. They do not like to enter sports or whatever. So they're just there doing their thing. It will survive because well, there are certain people who are really still using this as their means of defending themselves.
Mm.
um, but of course, the modern Arnis or Kali, because of the globalization right now, what's been going on is definitely uh, a big thing already here in the Philippines,
Mm.
wherein you just cannot go purely for FMA, because if you do that and then you want to prove yourself against someone who is well versed in the different aspects of martial arts, then you will have real trouble against them. Okay, but if you just want to keep it on yourself and do not like to engage in people who are very knowledgeable, then you can still keep those classical things that because most of the time the people that you are dealing with in the streets, well, they have very little knowledge of martial arts.
Mm.
Okay, and that is true, right? For example, if you're using the stick to grapple with someone, you will not be encountering. It will be very minimal that you are going to encounter someone who is a wrestler and who's
Yeah.
a thug at the same time.
MMA guy,
That is
BJJ back.
no, yeah, yeah. The
I gotcha.
I ge- yeah, if you have seen them, do these techniques, it will work because they are using them against people with no knowledge at all
No, no, right, correct.
against these things. Yeah, so that if you could you could use these things. But if you go against someone who is really knowledgeable with all aspects of martial arts, then you will have a hard time. So that
Yeah,
is my take on it.
first, I did like a little of everything, and yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I hope it doesn't go away though. Like the old way, I guess, so to speak. I guess it'd be sad to see that. But I do see the global,
yeah, we have to preserve.
coming in.
Yeah, we have to preserve.
Absolutely. I mean, but but I don't want to see I would hate to see all the arts in the Philippines become hybrid.
Disappear.
Yeah, or like
Yeah.
in this whole, that would be sad, in my opinion. I don't want to see.
Just like what I'm doing here, Kadi, what we're doing in AK. For example, I came under the influence of the Tony Diego, Tatang Illustrissimo's art. That I preserve.
Yeah, good
I
for you.
preserve that.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, if someone comes to me and just want to learn about the bolo of Tatang system, then I teach him as it is, with no other hybrid
yeah. Right. Oh,
techniques that we've included. Yeah.
well, that's nice to
But
know.
if you want to come, yeah, if you want to come to me in order to learn more about, how to deal with street fighting and everything, then this is what I'm going to teach you.
Yeah, right. And
Okay.
then you're gonna get
But yes,
your experiences, what you put in. Right. Okay. Yeah.
yeah.
Good question. Wow, that was. Oh, I got another one. Maestro Long, how much do you emphasize the art part of your system? Is there, if there is a balance, is there a balance? And this is from Brian. Good question. So, how much do you emphasize the art part of your system, and is there a balance?
Yeah, because I'm a PE teacher as well, a
Mm,
physical education teacher. That's why, uh, for example, when it comes to school, I present Filipino martial arts as an art,
mm,
uh, devoid of the too much violence that is, in, incorporated into the system. So most of the time, I will teach them certain movements that are dance-like movements, just like similar to what silat practitioners are doing. There will be a little bit of showmanship behind. So that is part of the art, and then a little bit of the history behind, the culture behind, what our ancestors were,
mm,
trying to do during their time in order to protect and preserve the freedom of our country. So these are the lessons that I offer them, that I teach them.
mm.
That is part of the art. That is part of the art. For example, if I do some techniques that are not for street fighting, it definitely, that is for art. That's
Yeah,
why I've already separated some of the, the aspects of FMA. This is for the artistic side.
yeah.
This is for the classical side. This is for the hybrid side. So all this, we could do this separately. Okay,
Mm,
provided that you know the ins and out of what you are doing.
right.
Because some instructors get confused already. They represent. That's why when they go to schools, people are turned off, especially teachers and students, because they see a lot of violence behind it. So it's not good for the schools. Okay, so you don't show that. Yeah, you don't show that to the kids. You don't show that to
No,
the teachers. So
yeah, you can't.
yeah,
Yeah.
stick to the art.
Mm.
Okay, and then when you do the art, yeah, like dance like movement, they applaud and they like it, and then it starts a spark on some of the students. They come to you. I want to learn more. That's where
Mm.
you start.
Actually,
Okay, to
that's a great
introduce
idea. Like,
what.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, bridge the
So that's
interest.
the balance. That's the balance.
Yeah, yeah. Huh. Yeah, right. For kids, right? You're right. You just can't go in there and just show like knife defense.
Yeah. Definitely.
You're going to get many signups from the youth, unless they're completely deranged. Um,
Yeah.
we got from Kavan. Maestro Bong, kindly talk about your approach of teaching with urgency, where only one or few sessions would be beneficial already. I know where he's going with this.
uh,
I know where he's going.
yes. Thank you, Pavon, for the question. Well, this is this has always been our main thing in AK. When you come to us during the first day, second day, or the first week of training, I do not want you to go without learning something that will really help you
Mm,
to defend yourself. Because why? For example, there are certain students who came to me and learned for just a day or two, and then for some reason, because of work, they were, they had to go, they had to leave. I could not just, live with my mind knowing that they didn't learn anything.
mm,
Okay, I just taught them footwork and taught them, 12 angles of attack. And what will they do with that? So the first day, I will teach them how to deal against a person with this type of weapon, and then I will keep on repeating that. Okay, even with just one technique, okay,
mm,
it could be enough for him. that could be a lifetime of learning for him already to keep on, because most of the attacks will be coming from here. Okay, if you're a right-handed person,
Right. I
so I will
understand.
work from there. Yes, and I will work from there, and a simple strike would be able to nullify that attack.
Mm,
And with that particular technique that he is armed with, okay, it could grow.
mm,
Because later on, I will before he goes, I will teach him the concept immediately, him or her. Okay, with this kind of response, you could always do the same response with different angles. Okay, for
yeah.
example, if you came from angle one, just as long as it's staying at the same angle on the right side, then it will be the same response. All you have to do is just to change your level.
No.
Okay, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Okay,
No. No. No.
uh, I'll I'll hit your angle one with angle one. Okay, your angle three with my angle one, your angle nine with my angle one, because it's coming from the same side.
Yeah.
Okay, and the opposite side will be just angle two or
Yeah.
angle four, angle four. Okay, all I have to do is learn to change my level,
Mm,
and then on that very first day, you already know how to defend yourself.
yeah.
But it's not complete, of course.
Yeah. Yeah. But at least they
Yeah,
left or something. Yeah. You know.
yeah. You walk away the first day knowing something,
Yeah.
not
Got
just knowing how to, you know.
right. Like you mentioned, like if they couldn't come back for reasons unknown
Yeah.
at the time. Right. Right. No, that was
Yeah.
what So what do you have? What's your future plan? Well, one thing I want to get what's I because I know you
Mhm.
got canceled for coming to the U.S. Is that in talks of being rescheduled depending on what's going on with COVID?
Yeah, we will have to, talk about it again, because of the recent, unfortunate events that
Mm,
happened. Well, because I cannot just go there and then spend my time after going there, going here, being quarantined for what,
yeah, yeah,
14 or 20 days. Oh, then that will be very, very difficult.
yeah, yeah.
So let's see what happens. What
Mm,
happens next? But if we could, we're also planning to have our own for AK um, online instruction. If we could come up with that, then I will be very much willing to. We're talking about it, so we'll see what happens.
oh, I think that'd be great if you
Yeah.
did that. Yeah.
Mhm.
Hey, let's look at it this way. Everybody else is doing it. So I mean,
Yes. Maybe it's time for yes, time for us to do it as well.
you might want
Yeah.
you might want to jump on that wagon. You know what I mean? It's
Yes.
well, I know
But
you.
for now, I want to do it with the AKs, with the AK members first.
Yeah, no, that would be neat. Absolutely.
Mm.
What I was gonna say there. I hope you do because I would love to jump in on that. So please
Thank
let me
you.
know. Um, I know you have an extensive CLOB background. Have you ever considered like coming up with your own system, or do you teach it individually if somebody came up to you? I mean,
Yeah. Well, the CLAT is already incorporated into most of the stuff that I've been doing right now.
oh yeah, no, no, and I
So
captured the kicks from I've gone from Tom Marvin all that.
yes,
But what I was wondering,
yeah.
have you ever considered with the different teachers you've learned from, perhaps maybe like making a blend or teaching individually? I was just curious. You know?
Um, well, before I was doing that, actually, um, when my form, or when my teacher Oong Mariono already passed away, before he left, going to Thailand, he really wanted me to teach Nusantara system here in
Mm,
the Philippines, and I was uh, and they appointed me to teach it, preserve it. I did it for a time. Um, but unfortunately, because there was so much emphasis of doing so many things during that, I wasn't able to really um, pursue it. So before, Norman, Mike, and the others were already doing a lot of silat with me, and it was just pure silat. There was no FMA in it. There was no other. It was just silat. But because of time constraint, things that happened, I really have to streamline everything. But who knows? If someone comes to me and wants to learn the silat style I learned from Wong Mariono and from Hadimulyo, then I'm willing to share it.
Yeah,
I'm willing to
I
share
was
it.
just I was I was just
Yeah.
curious, because I know you're got an extensive background, so it'd be a shame that like one day maybe you didn't compile it or what have you. Um, so
Oh, I still have my notes.
oh yeah, 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 oh, yeah, yeah. So
Yeah, I have all the notes.
what? All right, future plans for you and AK.
Hmm.
What's coming down the road?
Well, right now we're really eyeing on doing more teaching with the law enforcers, with people who are involved in the tactical side of training, how to use their firearms in conjunction with the weapons that
Mm,
could be introduced to them, such as the blades, and then of course the empty hand. Because even here, a lot of the police still do not know how to use the empty hands very very well. They always resort to using their firearms. That's why there are a lot of cases here that were in, you know, uh, all those mishaps because of not really learning how to use their hands for arresting properly.
mm,
So that's what we're trying to do right now, and then of course to teach more of the civilians on how to properly defend themselves. It's more we're more into helping people right now.
mm,
It's not more on just presenting ourselves as Filipino martial arts group. It's not that about presenting ourselves anymore. It's about helping people. If we could help a lot of people, just like what we're doing before, we started this way back, which we stopped doing for a while because we were focused so much on teaching the blade, presenting the blade art of tatang.
mm,
Now, since we have already done that, we want to go back to our original roots, which was to help people go to the different barangays, different cities. Sometimes we have what we call barangay captains, and then they have this small group of we call that tanod, who is trying to serve as the police within a certain area. We give them knowledge on how to arrest properly, on
mm.
how to talk to people that are under the influence of drugs, how to approach them properly. So these are the things that we're doing right now.
Oh, that's
So
fantastic.
it's more on helping people.
Mm.
Okay.
Oh, that's nice to hear. That's nice to hear.
Yeah, not going around and who's better. Uh, let's spar.
No,
No more of those
right.
things.
No,
Yeah,
you
childish things.
no, everybody holds you in
We
high.
have already outgrown.
No, you have a very good reputation. I mean, I for one wouldn't preach you and your system and be with, under you and all that. I mean, you become highly regarded. So, what else, in our community overall, what changes would you like to see in the FMA community as a whole for the good?
Oh, respect. Yeah,
Yeah.
respect.
And there's a good one.
It, yeah, it should start with respect.
Social media respect, huh?
Yeah, it will start from there. If you have respect, then everything will just follow.
Yeah.
Friendship, good communication, good camaraderie. If you have respect, if you don't respect the person, then everything changes. Everything goes down. Yeah, that's why I do not go out in public and say no, this style is no, or this person is so and so. No, uh, give them the respect that they that they have earned.
Mm.
Even they have done things that are a little bit off. Well, it's up to them to change
Yeah. At the
their
end of the
ways.
day, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Because who knows? One day you might commit a mistake as well,
Yeah. No,
right?
no,
Yeah,
no. It's so true. I mean, right? We're all obviously prone to error, right?
that's true. And you don't want to be crucified in front of the internet just because of what you did, of what you said.
Yes, I
So
know. I tell you.
I guess the less talk, less mistake,
Mm, that's a good one,
and
though.
just give them the
Yeah,
respects.
respect on the whole. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, I do. My gosh, I got one more question. One last, Brian. One last question. Oh, Glenn Ryan, what a great interview. Oh, thank you.
Mm.
One last question. Do you see your system growing in other countries and the USA?
Uh, it's already happening. I actually yes, it's already
Yeah,
happening.
it's
Uh,
COVID.
yeah.
COVID put there was momentum that was happening,
Yes,
and it was
that's
happening right
true.
in my state. Matter of fact, most of my privates were AK people, and COVID came around,
Mm.
and so yeah, yeah. You know, how about Europe?
Well, after this, yeah, yeah, we could start again in Europe. Maybe after all these problems have already subsided, then why not?
Yeah, yeah, no,
There, I'm still receiving a lot of emails even until now. Yeah, they've been inquiring if they could represent. Then I tell them come here and train with me. Or
yeah, no. I'm sure you are getting. I mean, people like the system and how you conduct yourselves and all that. In the U.S., just speaking on it because there's Ka Vaughn, Ka Marvin, Ka Joe, myself,
mm,
and there'll be more because, like I said, I know there will be. It's just there was interest, it was sparking, and then COVID came, and definitely like everybody else, was
yes, yeah.
setback. So and all that, but wow. So this is well, this has been actually we've gone beyond hour and a half, but this has been wonderful. Can
Mm.
can the guys come up and say um you know are they still there for the most part?
Yeah, so there, yeah, everybody's here.
And,
You want me to ask them to drop by
yeah,
here and just say hello?
yeah, if they don't mind, sure.
Okay. Okay, guys. Tawid na kayo rito. Okay. Sige. Oh,
We got Ka
can you hear?
Norman. Oh yeah,
Okay, good. Yeah. Hey, Kanin.
Ka
How are
Norman,
you?
Ka Rich.
Adi,
Hey, Ka Rich.
nice to
Where's Ka
meet you.
Mike?
Kamay.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
here's Kamay.
Mike's preparing our food and
Uh,
our beer.
hey, I saw you guys all hammering each other back there. You guys.
Yeah, having some fun.
So I just wanted to everybody, for you guys to say hello to everybody, and for the audience to to see you guys and all that because you guys are directly under Maestro and all that. And some of you guys for a long time, Con Mike, Con Rich, and Con Norman, obviously. So and those who are watching, these are my Manila brothers and AK. So I only hope one day I'll be able to get out there and meet all of you. When this COVID mess ends. If it ever ends.
Yeah.
So, but Todd Norman, I want to thank you. Thank you for helping him out with the demo there. And
Sure, sure.
I saw you and Rich beating the crap out of each other.
Yeah, getting old, getting old.
Tell me about it. I know.
Yeah.
But this has been an absolute joy. So what I'm going to do, Maestro. I'm going to post the first. when I interviewed you over a year ago, some people want to see that, so I'm gonna post that so they can see,
Okay.
because that's more that first one we really covered like you and your journey and how you became the Form AK and all that. So I think people,
Okay.
because it was so long ago and such an early interview, I think people would really like to see it. Those who maybe have just caught wind of the channel and what have
Yeah.
you, you know. So um, I really appreciate you coming on. I wouldn't take up too much of your time.
Oh, thank you very
You know.
much. Thank you very much, Gordon, for inviting me
Yeah,
again
yeah.
here.
Oh my God. Oh my no, my
And
pleasure. This is
congratulations, by the
long.
way. Yeah, congratulations. This is your 105th, right?
105.
100.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Imagine.
I know. It's like I keep telling people in the beginning, I had no idea that this would
Yeah.
grow this big or this popular because I just look at I'm just talking to people. anything, anything like special, you know what I mean? You know, there's nothing
Yeah.
special about it. Took a risk and just say, hey, I'm going to talk to a bunch of Filipino martial artists.
And it's really great. It's really great. Thank you for serving as the ambassador of
Oh
for
my
all of us.
God.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I'm happy to do it. It's made so many great people
Mm,
thus far, too many. And, you know, and then you're forced to like meet them all one day. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Before you know, I'm going to be flying all around the States and you guys, you know.
Yeah. Soon. Soon. You here in the Philippines.
Oh, and this mess, I can't even believe we're going on a year of this mess. Oh my gosh, you know, when's it gonna be over?
Hopefully before this year ends, it will be
uh,
hopefully. Uh,
I only hope, man, we're not built for this, you know.
mm.
All right, Maestro, thank you so much.
Thank you, Gordon, and thank you everyone
Yeah,
who watched this and support uh, Gordon's interviews.
yeah,
Thank you very much.
yeah. Thank you all that watched, commented, and what have you. Absolutely, but yeah,
Do you want us to do one more demo, one last demo for
oh my
before
God.
we wrap things up?
Oh, if you're willing, sure, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not.
Just an impromptu demo.
All right,
Okay.
okay, yeah, please do.
Okay. Copy tayo. Demo na ulit tayo.
All right, one more demo. How exciting. Hope many didn't leave too early. No Crusada, Nico. Uh,
Okay.
Maestro, that was excellent. No, thank you for that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Gordon.
Yeah, your favorite
Those
move,
are classical movements.
your favorite move is
Yes.
the salto, and
Yeah.
your signature. Your signature.
Yes.
Uh,
So thank you very much, Kadin.
all right, take care, Maestro.
Okay.
All right, I'll be in touch as always. All right. Thank you all who watched, commented, and submitted questions. That was a good one. So I will post his first interview, which was early November 2019, and that one's just solely on him and how he formed AK and all that. So for those who maybe are just jumped on the channel recently in the last 6 months or so, or maybe you're not familiar with the early interviews, I will post it. But a really good one, definitely well worth the watch and all that. So as soon as I get this download out, I'll put it on there. And next interview is Julius. Julius from California. Yes, he'll be on Monday. And along with his interview, there's going to be a pretty important announcement regarding him. So, yeah, that you definitely want to watch that one. And plus, he's just a funny guy. So, All right, thank you all those watched, and if you haven't already, hit like and subscribe to FMA Discussion on YouTube channel, and the link. If you haven't seen it, either I can post that as well too. But that's easy. FMA Discussion on YouTube. All right, folks. Thanks again.